Now, last night, news surfaced that veteran sports commentator Mr. Dumile Mateza had passed away. The versatile broadcaster had a long career in media, which lasted decades, as the former school teacher navigated the media space with relative ease. As a multilingual broadcaster, his talent saw him work for the SABC on both radio and television. His intimate knowledge of his subject made him a revered figure in media, as his interests and talents went beyond the sports field, as he was also comfortable in current affairs, with his love for sport and current affairs matched by his keen interest in music. Born in the unassuming town of Carridoe in the Eastern Cape, his broadcasting talents have seen him travel the world, where he got the opportunity to commentate on the biggest sporting events, ranging from the Olympics to soccer World Cups to world titles in terms of boxing, and to some of the biggest soccer derbies in the world. His oratory skills have had him named as one of the best that the country has produced, and even though he has passed on, his legacy will be a standard bearer for many years to come. And now, to take the story further, we will be having a discussion with two individuals who knew Mr. Mateza pretty well, both on a professional as well as a personal level. Good morning, Sismandisa Didi, and good morning to you, Mr. Michael Abramson. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Sports on Morning Live.
Only a pleasure, Vasiwe. Thanks so much for having me.
It seems like we are still having issues with the audio for Sismandisa. So, Michael, I'll just jump straight to you. Now, you and Mr. Mateza were doing commentary work long before the days of Google. Tell us about the first time that you worked with Mr. Mateza in that commentary booth. I'm quite sure there was rims of paper that were there.
Yes, there were quite a few sheets of paper, I must be honest. It was my first ever game for SABC TV. It was a PSL game in Putadichaba. And I actually went to Mr. Mateza's flat. He said to me I must drive through with him because I didn't really know the ropes. So he would sort of take me through and show me what was happening. And we drove. It was a long, long drive to Putadichaba to do Free State Stars against Sundowns. Was my opening game. I remember there were four of us in the commentary box. Also the late Eddie Lewis and Dan Setsedi was there as well. And Dumile and myself. And we shared the game and we did commentary, and it was an amazing experience. And he was just so professional. He made it so easy for me. And our careers overlapped quite a lot as a result of that, because I was obviously doing a lot more soccer broadcasts, and also we did a lot of cricket together and rugby together. So we got to work a lot and we got to know each other very well. And he was the consummate professional. He was completely professional in everything he did. He was a giant of a man, and he'll be very, very sorely missed.
Certainly. Sismandisa, I'm going to bring you into the conversation now. Baba Mateza, a good friend of yours. Abantu abaningi don't know that outside of sport, he had a great love for music. Tell us about that.
Wow, good morning to you and the viewers. Dumza loved music. Whenever he walked into a room, the first thing he would do would just be to break into song. And if there's a party, everything would have to stop, because now Dumza will take center stage singing in his famous vibration. We'll really, really miss Dumza. You know, as friends, we had the best. He was a friend, he was a confidante, he was everything to a lot of us.
Certainly, it is a great loss. Now, Michael, let me come back to you. As we speak about that first PSL game you did with Mr. Mateza, what about the level of intimidation? I mean, you come and here's this man, and I've been saying this whole morning, just his voice and his accent. Was there some intimidation there, and how did he guide you through that process for you in your first PSL encounter?
I wouldn't say it was necessarily intimidation. I would say it was the fact that I was working with legends of the game. So it was a real honor to have my first game with him and with people like Dan and Eddie Lewis and veteran broadcasters and people who knew the game so intimately that I had the opportunity to work with right at the beginning. So intimidation maybe slightly, but I think more the fact that I was working with professionals, I could learn the ropes very quickly. And it's it really did help. And he made things very comfortable. On the journey there, he spoke to me about the players and things I should be concentrating on. And afterwards, when we had the long drive back to Johannesburg, he was sharing with me things that he thought I did well, things that he thought I needed to work on a little bit. So I think from that point of view, it was a tremendous learning experience for me, and it was a fast-track learning experience because he was so willing to share information, he was willing to impart his skills, and he was he wasn't the jealous type. He wasn't the type of saying, who's this new upstart commentator who's coming in to take away my job? He felt confident in what he was doing. He was very assured behind the microphone, and he knew that he was the consummate professional. And as a result, he was willing to impart his knowledge freely. And I was one of the many who benefited from having that experience with him.
Certainly a man that really did move on that torch to the next person. Sis Mandisa, tell us more about Mr. Mateza as your friend. We know that he was a very opinionated person, never shy to back down in terms of expressing exactly how he felt.
Not only opinionated, Dumza was animated. We met with Dumza during the early 80s. We belonged to the first crop of black broadcasters. So we came from the Eastern Cape with the likes of Thandi Mesakwa. You'll remember Thandi used to be a newsreader on the Xhosa desk, Lunga Williams, and many others. So, we're these young, opinionated broadcasters who had just hit Johannesburg. And we've been friends with Dumza since that time. In him, one had the best friend. And also, Dumza was a teacher. And he was a teacher because he used to love reading. I remember before he got married, in his bedroom, there was a bed, a wardrobe, and lots of books. There were books from corner to corner. Books in every subject matter you can think of. I cannot think of a subject matter, where Dumza was not eloquent. Dumza knew sports through and through. Almost in all sporting codes, Dumza would tell you the history. He would tell you everything you needed to know. It is true that he was not jealous at all. In fact, as a friend, I used to scold him to say, Wena, you'll be poor for the rest of your life because all your brilliant ideas, you just plow them all over. Wherever you go, you share these brilliant business ideas that could be bringing you so much wealth. But then that was Dumza. He was a storyteller. And he was fascinated about politics. He was fascinated about history. So whenever, you were in his presence, you grew as a person because there was so much that you could draw from him.
Thank you so much, Sis Mandisa Didi, as well as Michael Abramson. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time left. Do you have yourselves a blessed day further?
Thank you very much. Same to you.
Thank you so much.
There you go, Sis Mandisa Didi, as well as Michael Abramson. They knew Mr. Dumile Mateza on both a personal as well as a professional level, and they're really saying that he was a man that wanted to contribute to the greater good of everyone else.